Sound's coming up, and we're on the screens. Okay,
Hello.
so welcome to the last of the Gen 5/6 Sunday updates. Sort of, kind of, I don't know, because it turns July in the middle of this week. So, yeah.
June. It's still June.
Right. It's June now. But this is the lazy edition. It's one of those lazy edition weeks where I didn't make a graphic. So we have to talk and explain stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
Anyway,
All of us excited.
we here at the VPP are playing Gens 5 and 6. I just finished Pokemon X on Friday. Sirmina, I don't know. I'll ask you about how Pokemon Y went today. And Cam is playing Black 2. Where are you at with Black 2? I should know that.
On my way to the 7th gen.
You're on your way to the 7th gym in Black 2. Cool.
Yeah, so I think that the 2 remaining gems and the plot are really what's left.
Yep.
And then it's Victory Road, and the E4.
Sweet.
Yep.
So, yeah, 3 days.
You'll be fine.
3 days.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
I am going to save our tier list celebration of the midway through the project for next week.
Smart choice.
Why? Because I don't have any tier lists. So I'll have to bug you guys this week about that, but I mostly dropped the ball. So we'll get that together for next time. But let's talk
I
about...
haven't even thought about them either, so like you're fine.
Let's talk Pokemans.
Okay. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I want to do a catch-up because I don't know where Sirmina is and why. She streamed today, and I didn't see the stream today. So where are you? What's happening?
I beat the 6th gym today.
The 6th gym. Wait, so this is...
Fairy gym.
With the Sylveon Chaser. Whew.
Yeah. I didn't get affected by it as much. I'm gonna tell you now. I really didn't get KO'd by it. Like, it was fine.
What was your team... What's your team like again?
So I have... I now have Doublade because Link has evolved from a Honedge to a Doublade.
That's
Attack
really
and
helpful
defense
because
are-
Steel, right?
Well, I thought so. It was gonna be great, but the Mr. Mime put up a Reflect.
Yeah.
And then Gyro Ball did not do nearly as much as I thought, because Sylveon apparently is not very fast. So the differential for Gyro Ball was not that exciting.
Okay.
Is that? Oh.
And I kept throwing Charm at Honedge, or Doublade as well, so it was not that
Oh,
great.
that
So
sucks.
at one point I just like
But
randomly
Steel
threw out
resists
somebody.
Fairy, right? So you're not getting, like, blasted by Moonblast or whatever.
Dazzling Gleam, not Moonblast yet.
Okay, at some point you'll get slammed in the face by Moonblast 8 million times by every fairy trainer.
That's a
I
good
don't know.
one.
Some fairy trainer just had Moonblast after Moonblast, and I was like, cool. This is fun.
Oh boy. But the gyms were not that bad at all. The electric gym I was fine with Clement he was fine. And then with Valerie and Lever, the fairy gym was fine too. Like, I kind of ran through them.
Now that you've gone through the fairy gym, I'd love to talk about it real quick as a, like, 1,000% callback to Gen 1.
It is 1,000% callback to Gen 1. And then the even spookier thing is, okay, so the current callback is it is a 9-room building, the way that Sabrina's gym was, which I think is traditionally supposed to be the 6th gym. I can't really remember, because you get to face Koga and Sabrina 5th or 6th. But regardless, I'm going to consider Sabrina as the 6th gym in Gen 1.
Yeah.
As a 9-room gym. They kind of have that same eerie kind of vibe, creepy vibe, and then Valerie's gym is a dollhouse, right? It's this whole big dollhouse scheme, and in the games for Gen 1, you don't have that. You just have this very plain room. But in the show, Sabrina took her 4 victims and shrunk them into a dollhouse.
Yes. I watched that episode.
Like, super callbacky to the Sabrina vibes. This whole generation has been like Gen 1 callback.
Is that what happened in the show?
Yes. She shrinks.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, she shrinks people and puts them in a dollhouse.
Yes.
I just remember the ghosts.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I remember about that episode.
And like the Gen 1 gym, you have to use teleportation pads to get around.
Yep.
There is not necessarily a clear pattern of where the teleportation pads go and where they wind up. There are
At one
often...
point I just kept going to the bottom right corner. I was like,
Yep.
I'll get there eventually.
I always wind up there. I have no idea why. And there's like 3 or 4 of them in a bunch of the rooms. Annoying.
I'm looking at the map right now.
Yep. I did appreciate that in this iteration of the gym, it is not in black and white. So you can kind of recognize when you've been to a room before, you're like, shit, it's this one. Also, the graphics are just generally better. So when I got to the room before, the one that like contains the last room, I was like, oh good, this is a new room. I haven't been here before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big help.
Yeah. Shoot, what was I gonna say? Yeah, that one. So, I think my theme for Gen 6 has been like, there are no puzzles. And that gym corrected me. Because that is a legitimate puzzle straight at the heart of the Pokemon games. Because, like, I don't know, Gen 1, Sabrina's teleports were like one of the most fun puzzles I remember. Maybe fun is the wrong word, but it was one of the puzzles I definitely remember. So that was points for Gen 6. I don't remember the next 2 very well.
That's probably very telling.
In which...
Psychic and Ice are the next 2 gens in Gen 6. Which, originally I was like, you know... Oh, no one told me what the gym types are. But then you talk to the girl in the cabin, and she's like, oh, let me tell you about the badges.
It was very early on, so you kind of got an idea very quickly of what the gyms were going to look like.
Yeah. And they have, like, really secret names, like Psychic Badge and Iceberg Badge.
Could be any.
I was like, yeah. Oh, looks like I'm up against a dark and a fire gym coming up.
Yeah.
Ooh. Anyway. Cam, how's Black 2 going?
It's really fun. I've got my whole team together. Everyone's evolved to where they need to be.
Nice.
Was that true last week?
No.
No, because we were missing what? Jellicent?
Jellicent and Flygon.
Jellicent and Flygon.
Flygon's a late bloomer, yeah.
Yeah, level, what, 55? 45. 40.
I had a Flygon on my team.
Yeah.
I named him Groundgon so I wouldn't forget. He had Levitate, but it didn't matter.
No, it didn't.
Not gonna spoil the E4, but
talk about anything.
Oh my god.
Sirmina, you didn't watch, but I can say that there was one gym that took Peter 3 attempts. One E4 member.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh god.
3 resets.
First time in the VPP. First time in the VPP I've had to reset during an E4. And it's a fucking Gen 1 Pokemon. It's not even... Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Black 2's been really fun. So, like, I've been trying to do as much of, like, the world as I can, because we didn't get to experience that in Black and White.
Yeah.
Now that I'm on the left,
Yeah.
right part of the world.
You start somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, start over there and then move to the other side so we have this instead of this. Like, So those motions made sense.
Man, black and white, that's when everyone was the same height. And there wasn't some gargantuan behemoth that was 10 feet tall walking around.
Get that. I saw him very briefly, some dude that looks like he's 10 foot tall.
He's so tall!
I don't know who he is.
You'll run into him again. Don't worry.
Oh, great.
Oh.
They will never explain why he's that tall.
Dude.
Some people are just tall.
No, Cam, no. Like, he doesn't even fit on the screen.
Yes, I thought that it was like just a vantage point thing, but no, it's legitimately.
They make it like that. Because you run into him later and they literally have to make a room that's taller than the other rooms to fit him in the room. But they don't explain. Nobody explains.
Oh my god.
Looking this up.
I'm bored. He was talking about some kind of Pokemon that...
He is said to be over 9 feet tall.
Yeah, he's like 10 feet.
No one's making this up. Like, it's a real thing. It's in the game. It's
okay, what was the dialogue that he had? Because he said something about some kind of Pokemon.
It's so vague. His dialogue throughout the game is so vague.
I'm scared. Actually, I don't want to look it up because I feel like I'm going to...
Don't look it up because it will spoil the ending.
Yeah, don't look up anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked it up and it's immediately spoilers.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, Black 2's going well. Planning on finishing it sometime in the next 3 days. Before July.
Sweet. Oh, I have news.
Be on to Sun.
What's up? Oh, you're on to Sun. I'm on to Ultra Sun next month. And Sirmina is going through the gauntlet Moon Ultra Moon.
Moon Ultra Moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. Like, I should make the note that next month we are switching over from Gen 5-6 to Gen 7-8. Right?
Gen 7.
Just 7.
Just 7 next month. Just 7 next month. And then in August, we're in that another weird month where we're in Gen 7-8.
But we'll all be in the same generation together.
Yes!
Again.
We'll all get to run diagonally.
And we can all have teams of 7 Pokemon, because 7th gen.
Yeah, and there's and we won't have any badges, which I have some questions about. So, we'll get there.
Similar to Sword and Shield's, you fill in the metal.
I don't think so. No, because it lists badges for Sword and Shield. It just skips Alola.
There are no badges in the Lola.
Alright.
You will find out. You'll find out.
Okay, so I'm going to find out why there's no badges. Because I have it bookmarked, the badge page on Bulbapedia. Because I have to go there and get the pictures of the badges to make for, to do our little update photos.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there and I was like, alright, what do the badges even look like for the next generation? And it was like, nope. I was like, what do you mean by that? And it just doesn't have anything. So anyway, I'm going to find out what's going on with that next month. Are these still same? We're still on the 3DS next month, right?
Yes.
Great, so we can keep using the 3DS that we bought from Nintendo.
The 3DS. Not the Smoomy.
No, Cam, we'll chat about how to use the 3DS that we bought from Nintendo.
Yeah, I'll have to find one to order.
What?
I'll have to find one to order before I start.
Yeah. Also, I picked up a copy of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah.
And while I'm not gonna maybe discuss that too much before November, I think. It works. And it is indeed, I didn't realize how much of a remake of Pokemon Yellow it was, but it's really a remake of Pokemon Yellow with 1 or 2 adjustments.
The catching mechanism the same as Pokemon Go.
catching's a little different than in Pokemon Yellow. It's a little bit different.
Is it closer to Pokemon Go?
It's closer to Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I've seen some gameplay of catching.
It's weird because the catching is how you grind. If you're leveling your Pokemon, you can do it by going in the tall grass and catching more Pokemon. So I now just have an absurd number of Pokemon that I've caught and am keeping in my box for no reason.
Well, wasn't that one of the things about Let's Go, is that they hooked it up to the Pokemon Home?
Want help? Oh my gosh.
So you can
What should I take?
transfer.
They did something weird with the Let's Go series.
Yeah. On the bright side, though, Let's Go, if you transfer from Pokemon Go, you can get a Melton box.
That's right. That
And
was
then
the
you
Melton
can get
thing.
Melmetal.
Cool. I think I have a Melmetal in Pokemon Home.
Yeah, the one that they give you, the level 100.
Yeah.
Binacle.
She'll be back, I think.
Yeah, you can get a Melton box.
Well, we got a lot of viewers. I just opened up the chat in case anybody had questions.
Questions from the spectators?
Probably no questions from the audience.
Just one from Ford. No one wanted to ask any questions.
Yeah, it's too bad because I have more to talk about with the end of X, but I absolutely do not want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it at all. I will say, in very general terms, that the plot you have coming up is fun.
Okay, good, because I have no fucking idea what Team Flare is all about. I literally was bitching about it today. I was like, what are they for? What do they need the power plant for? In the other generation, they told you very explicitly, like, I'm using this power from this Pokemon to do XYZ thing. And then this entire game, we just had a power outage that they've been causing, and they decided, I'm just going to use the power plant to power up something. And then you get rid of them, and then the power's back. And then, now what? Where are they? What are they doing? They're just gone.
So
I need what?
I'm going to try to talk about I'm going to talk about this without spoiling the future plot stuff that you're going to run into, which might mean some of it doesn't make sense, but that's okay. First, we do actually have a question coming in the chat, but I'll start talking this first, and then we can interrupt to do that. So, I thought Flare is like one of the weaker teams that we've encountered so far in terms of just like exactly what you're saying. Like, no idea what they want, no idea what they care about. They keep talking about like, oh, we want all this stuff so that we can like be happy, which is weird.
No idea.
You are about to get a massive amount of like motivation development crap jammed into like 30 minutes of gameplay.
30?
I will say, they did a good job. They paid attention to some of the earlier generations. They paid a lot of attention to Gen 1, as we've noticed before. So, when you find some more stuff out about Team Flare, that will be accompanied by some familiar game mechanics and I think a familiar general sort of structure.
Okay. Familiar mechanics and familiar structure.
I think there's a point in the Gen 1 games that I think will be called back to in the next like major plot thing that you do. Which I found to be really cool. But then they go off on their own, like they add a twist to it, which I also thought was cool. And they kind of give you more detail on like who Team Flare is, what they're all about, etc. So, and It still won't make sense why that guy's 9 feet tall, but it will make sense why, like, you saw him earlier. So, anyway, I liked all of that. I thought that they should have done it earlier because I was frustrated that, like... I was frustrated by exactly the same thing. I was like, okay, there's these lame guys in red suits, and, like, obviously I have to defeat them because they're French, but I don't have any other, like, driving motivation for, you know...
If I wasn't already 6 badges in,
Yeah.
I would have been like, you know, there's a certain point when it's okay to not know anything, but I'm 6 badges in.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Right. I feel like Jon Snow.
What is it? Ha!
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have, yeah.
Yeah.
Silly.
I thought it was paced a little badly, and I also thought, like, the initial introduction with Flair in the cave is such a great moment to establish villainy that they just sort of fuck it. Like, we don't need to do that. And that was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Team Rocket, and I know this because I've just been playing Pokemon Yellow, basically, because I've been playing Let's Go Eevee a little bit. Granted, Pokemon Yellow does the best job of this because it's Jesse and James in the cave and they're like, we're going to steal fossils. But anytime you go into Mount Moon in Gen 1, Team Rocket is trying to steal fossils. And no matter how you slice it, that's a bad thing to do. And so you kind of have a vibe of, like, who these guys are and what's going on with them, like, right off the bat. Whereas Team Flare, I think, was just like, oh, we're Team Flare. I was like, okay.
Boy Frenchman, and that's about it.
Right. And they say something vague about, you know, oh, we want to have all the stuff so we can be happy. But
The what?
what does that mean? How do you do things?
Doesn't, like, every team technically do things so that they can be happy?
Right.
So then...
Well, I'm also, like, as the player, I'm doing stuff for me to be happy, right? Like...
Yeah.
I would argue that Team Magma and Team Aqua did not do it so that they would be happy.
Right. But they had an actual good motivation.
Yes.
Like, that was...
one of my favorites.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like...
Silly.
The fact that Pokemon was just like, bam, eco-terrorism. Like, easiest... But it's so great because you totally get it, like, immediately. You don't have to be like, oh man, I don't know why these people are doing what they're doing. And you're also not like, oh man, I wonder if these guys are good or not. It's just like, no, they're clearly evil and this is what they want.
Mm-hmm. I want answers this week. Yeah. And Cam, you've been also kind of plot starved in Black Zone.
Yeah, it was really after Nimbasa that, like, some plot started to happen.
Yeah.
And even still, I don't know what is going on. Like, we've just been informed that there's a 3rd dragon, maybe, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, there's dragons?
Surprised, yes. This generation
right.
of dragons.
I feel
there might be.
I missed a lot of the Black White 2 streams.
That's okay.
Not good.
You really have not missed any plot.
Okay.
Plasma is doing, as far as what I can tell, the exact same thing that they were doing in Black and White.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, they're trying to, from my knowledge of Pokemon, not from the game telling me this, I feel like they're trying to awaken Kira. Ice Dragon.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get plenty of plot very soon. It's just gonna be kind of like what Peter's explaining for X and Y. It's just like they will just, like, hand you on a silver platter and look at all this plot that we're gonna cram into, like...
If I remember correctly, Sirmina, I think it might actually be right between the Psychic and Ice Gems.
Yeah?
I think so. That
plot.
might be wrong. It might be before Psychic Gem, but I think it was kind of like. And there's a couple games that do that, right? Like actually, Emerald. No, Emerald doesn't do that. It does it before the 7th gem.
Galactic in 4. All of the plot stuff gets resolved before the 8th gem.
Yeah. What's a little weird is that I think that will happen. You'll essentially be done with the plot before you're done with the gems. Which is kind of weird. But
I was going to say, that's probably the point.
Yeah.
Here, you've completed all the plot, now it's not going to follow you beat the game.
The positive to that, sometimes...
Gen 2 did that.
Gen what?
Gen 2 did that.
Okay.
As soon as you got out of Price's gym, after the 7th gym, you got the phone call for the Goldenrod Tower to be like, hey, I need you to come back. SOS. You know. Basically every game has been like right after the 7th gym.
Yeah.
You get thrown into like chaos of plot.
They kind of leave you with the 8th gem to like get back on track. The real big shift from that being Gen 5. Right? Because Gen 5 was kind of like, haha, you made it to the E4, you're not fucking done. Like
yeah. You're Gen 5. You're Gen 5.
My Gen 5.
Yeah, like
black and white. Not
yes,
necessarily black 2, white 2.
Yeah, Cam, you're just gonna get like smacked with plot after the 7th gem.
Yeah, because it seems like I need to beat Drayden for him to tell me everything, so that I can go back.
Oh, so it's Drayden is... Was Drayden...
Drayden is 7th.
Was Drayden in charge of the gem in black and white, or was it the girl? When do you fight the... Is the girl just kind of there?
Iris?
Drayden and Iris were like a tag team in black and white.
Got it. Okay. I was trying to think back. Having a hard time with it.
I think I watched the E... Oh yeah, no, I definitely watched you finish White 2, the E4. So I know the E4, and I know who the champion is.
You know the E4 because I knew the E4 because I watched you guys do your black and white.
Is it the same all the way through?
It's the same.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Except there's one change.
Oh.
And the champion.
Yes, you have a different champion.
Change the champion, but not change the E4.
E4 members are the same. I don't remember teams because now they can use multiple gens.
See, I can't remember anybody's name before Gen 6, and that's because Gen 6 makes you learn God knows how many people's names. I have like a frickin' entourage of friends that follow me around.
They're kind of annoying.
They're so annoying.
Oh yeah,
I hate them. I hate them so much. Well,
we have an interesting question.
I know. I want to come to that, but I also just need to vent my hatred of the Pokemon Gen 6 squad, because squad, like, why are there 4 of them? My God. And also, this is something I didn't remember until like way down the line in the game. But your rival takes the Pokemon that you're strong against. And Shauna takes the Pokemon, at least for me, I don't know if the characters are different in your version. But Shauna, who's like the kind of ditzy kid that's like mostly a moron through the entire game, takes the Pokemon that you're strong against. So you have to fight her like once through the whole game. Yeah. And it's in this like stupid random just bridge that you're crossing near the end. And so I'm used to fighting Sirmina, who's the one that had, I think I took Froakie, so she had the Fennekin, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's Shauna has the grass one, unless I'm totally wrong.
I think you flipped them.
Did I flip them?
For me, Caleb is my rival, and he has Greninja.
Wait, who's your rival?
I have Braixen. And the last one, the kid, the guy, the dark haired guy. Calem is his name. and I pronounce it like every which way every single time I say it. Salem, Calum, Callum. I don't know, man.
Huh. So you have 4 entirely different people.
I don't know.
You probably.
I mean,
do.
it might be the character that you are.
Oh, that
Because I
could be.
think I'm supposed to be Sirmina. I think like the character that I play.
No, you're Sirmina.
Yeah, but like yeah. So I
Anyway.
think your character is the rival in mine.
There's a stupidly high number of characters in this game, including like the movie star that you run into at the cafe all the time, and like anyway. Question in the chat was, out of all of the Pokemon generations, which has been your, I think it says best, I think this means favorite storyline, and why?
Favorite storyline.
Favorite
Storyline of all of the gens.
Favorite storyline.
I'm looking at my list of games that I've played. I'm gonna have to go with Gen 2 beta.
I will kill you.
Side note, we all hate Gen 2 here.
It can't be Gen
Our
2
running
for
gag.
me because the story wasn't good.
Mm-hmm. Is that a cattail?
Reaching out for me to be like, play
Oh, cat paw!
Cat Paw.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
I know what my answer is.
What do you think, Cam?
Gen 4 Platinum. That was my favorite storyline.
Why?
You had a great storyline.
Yeah. And I really liked how fleshed out Cyrus was as like a character, and just like kind of how foreboding that whole thing was leading up to fighting Giratina in the distortion world. And like just they really did flip the physics of the game around, because wasn't Sapphire, Ruby, and Emerald, they were all like kind of 3D, or were they still 2D?
They were
2D. They were
Game Boy
hardcore
Advance.
2D.
Because when we got into Gen 4, like, oh my god, the graphics. And then they really turned it on their head with Platinum and the distortion world. And they're like, now you're going to be jumping around upside down and going all sorts of ways. So, like, they were able to really work in the mechanics of the game system to plot. And just, like, the speech that Cyrus gives to all of the Team Galactic grunts, and then he meets you upstairs in his office, and he's like, what a bunch of idiots. And then, like,
Yeah.
there's such a I had like a respect for Cyrus, even though like what he was doing was misguided, but I still thought that like overall it was just really fun to see and like try and figure out what was going on. And it was really dark at points too in there.
Yes.
Like with the Lake Trio in the like research lab.
The bombs and everything. Oh, the Lake Trail when they're like locked up, and all the scientists are like, I don't like what we're doing here.
Yeah. And like Aaron's there too, just to be all super creepy. I was like, that. I think that part might have actually given me like kind of like goosebump chills type things, because I was like, the music is really off-putting as well.
Yeah.
So I think that just in general, Platinum is very fun, and like I would definitely go back and replay that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like try and pick up on more subtle plot cues earlier and see where those actually end up.
Yeah. Sirmina, what do you think?
As a
I have a soft spot for Gen 3. That's right. Like, I mean, the first Gen 3 game I played was Emerald, so I got the Emerald storyline where you get a little bit of extra with Rayquaza and all that, but like overall, still having played Ruby and getting through the plot that way, it's also the only one where we have two separate factions warring against each other, and then they end up just like what Kevin said, whatever, how many months ago, they just end up horseshoeing and they all end up going towards like the same exact stupid goal, in a sense, like thinking about it that way. But having two separate factions changes everything, and then also having to play against one or the other, or like in Peter's case with Emerald, both, having to fight them both technically, that ends up being like stand out compared to the rest of the generations to me. And then also, of course, like the beautiful final catastrophic, like, oh god, we actually did the thing that we wanted to do, and like we kind of regret it. They all had that regret when in Gens 1 and 2 they don't accomplish what they really wanted. Gen 4, like, you did kind of see it and you had to undo it. Gen 5, you don't get that because like they don't release all the Pokemon. They don't. And then Gen 6, TBD. But in Gen 3, like, you see all of them just being like, oh fuck, and then actually having some kind of remorse when you fix everything and they're like, I see now that you were right. We are not going to do this anymore. We're going to just go away and calm down and actually resolve and never hear from us again.
Yeah, that crazy scene with the water, like, Groudon and Kyogre are both just, like, fighting. It's like the weather changing all of a sudden both ways.
Oh, yeah.
That was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you guys already know what I'm going to say.
What?
What? What do you think?
Gen 2.
Come on, Silver, baby!
No. God, no. No, for the Lighthouse tile set alone, it can't be Gen 2 for me.
You're picking,
Okay, you'll get a redemption in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, okay? They
Okay. I'm really bitter. You keep saying that.
I promise you redemption in the remakes of Gen 2.
No, what do you guys think? What is my favorite Pokemon storyline?
Oh, man. You really liked Emerald.
It's Emerald. It's
Yeah.
Emerald all the way. I do,
The second choice would have been Sword.
for every reason you said, Sirmina. It's not Sword. Sword has a pretty god-awful storyline. So this is actually kind of, I'm really glad that you asked this question. Sorry, this was Masaru, right, in the chat. Asked this question, and I'm really glad because I realized that the only gen I haven't played yet is Gen 7. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Which is cool.
You actually played,
But like, I feel like I can actually consider this question now. Like last year, the only Pokemon I'd ever touched was like what, Red, Fire Red, and Sword. And Pokemon Go, but that doesn't count. So now I actually feel like, okay, I can answer this. And first of all, it's Emerald by maybe not a long shot, but at least a bit, for all the reasons that you said. The dual team construction and like the fact that you actually get, I feel like the legendaries actually play a role, and which comes through in Gen 4, which I give an honorable mention to. And it comes through again in Gen 5, which I also give an honorable mention to. Gen 5 is too dark for me to really, like, I don't know. I thought it was too, like, it gets a little grim near the end with, like, all the stuff with N and Getsus, and you're like... yeah.
Like, this is like ultimate evil, like actually like the biggest asshole of all the people
yeah.
who have
Well, because a lot of the other ones have evil that's like a little more abstract, and this one was more like, oh, this is just like someone mistreating like a child. I was like, that just... Yeah, and like I know that's real and that's fair, but it was a little too dark and real for me when I was playing like the escapist catch small creatures game. So I was like, okay, hold up. I will say, if Gen 6 was not paced like Usain Bolt trying to run a marathon, in that everything in the whole game is crammed into like between two gyms, it would probably be my favorite plot.
Cool. Okay, that's interesting.
Because
now I'm curious.
It's really just like, and we always make jokes about Pokemon Z, right? But I think that the issues I had with X and Y and the story probably would have been resolved with that the third game that comes in and fixes the issues that the first two games couldn't quite get right. And it's the same reason, like Pearl almost had me, right? But Platinum totally hooked Cam, and it's because of like those little, we need more here. Like, we have to lay this groundwork earlier, and we need to have a bigger payoff at the end. Because like the legendaries really matter in the Platinum storyline, and the legendaries mostly matter in the Pearl storyline, and they figure out some of that stuff, and you get to actually like go to the Distortion world and all that jazz. And I feel like if X and Y had the treatment of like a third game coming in to be like, all right, we got pretty good stuff here. First hour of Flare totally sucks, so we need to like redo that. I think you would see a really similar game because it's really cool, and the elements they introduce are neat, and if they had a way to tie it all in a tighter package, I think it would be a fantastic game.
I'm just really excited because I haven't heard any mention of the legendaries. No word on Xerneas and Xylith.
And it's one of the weaknesses. And again, like if you, because I gotta say, okay, second best legendary encounter probably in the series
is in X.
Is in X and Y.
Ooh.
I really think because the scene where it happens is perfect, and you like Pokemon gives you a lot of chances throughout the games to be like, oh, there's a bird over there, you don't have to go fight it, right? Like, you'll be on those goddamn islands that I hate so much. Seafoam, right?
Seafoam, my favorite islands. I don't know what
and it's like,
about.
oh, there's a bird over there, you don't have to go fight it. And you're like, okay, whatever. And then you go fight it, and like, you've opted into this thing. And like, there's a lot of times where that happens, where the game's kind of like, oh yeah, you can go like talk to the legendary if you want. Nope, not in X and Y. And the way in which they do that and build up to it is perfect. It's like absolutely flawless, and it, like, for a second I was like, oh shit. Like, it was, I have the Master Ball in my inventory, but I was definitely like, oh shit, this is like, I can't get out of this. So I liked that a lot, and I think it's like moments like that if they were better utilized would have made it like absolutely one of the top games in the series.
I'm curious to see where they go with it, because like the progression from Gens 1 through 5 is Gen 1, absolutely no regard for the legendaries whatsoever amongst Team Rocket. They do not care. You can just, they're kind of optional. They're really sticking to the very simplistic idea of you just gotta catch them all and that's it. And you gotta get these guys that are a one-time catch and that's it. Gen 2, you start to get bits and pieces of mythology. You understand like Lugia and Ho-Oh and then the three dogs, and like there's some chase, but it's more of like myth chasers. And then in Gen 3 you start to get like I want to awaken these guys, I want to actually interact with these guys. Gen 4 you get like that full immersion of like these guys want to control them. Gen 5 you also get that like fucked up thing, Cam, that you're gonna see in Black 2 when you get into plot. Oh, it's fucked. I just sat there with my mouth open, like, why would they do that? Like,
there's something with DNA splicing.
Well, yes. So they just get more and more and more and more entrenched into like the legendary Pokemon's livelihoods and like utilizing them. It's wild. And I'm like, what are they gonna do in 6?
How much do you think 6 is really interesting, and it definitely builds on that theme?
Oh god.
How much do you think, so like Gens 1 and 2 are set very rural, I would argue. Gen 2 is more built up society. But that kind of gives it the vibe of like, they're not people who aspire to controlling legendary Pokemon, like, I don't know, it's people who kind of would like the characters in those games are pretty traditional and would think like, let the gods be gods. Whereas as you get into sort of the more like industrialized modern societies in the later games, you have people that feel like, oh yeah, I could totally go out and, you know, warp these like immensely powerful beings to my will and make them do stuff. Yeah, because I feel like the difference, it's interesting because Gens 3 and 4, you're mostly still at the point where you're kind of like, oh, I have an orb. Well, and Gen 3 really gives you this memo. It's like, you better not think
The
that
orb.
even though you have the orb, you're actually going to be able to, like, control it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can unleash it,
Yeah.
but it's not going to, like, do what you want.
Yeah.
That's why you need the red chains.
The red chains?
Yeah.
Oh, is that how...
And 4.
Right.
And 4. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
She played less of a role, I feel like. Diamond and Pearl.
Had Cyrus forged those, right? Like to...
That was why they needed all of the energy.
Yeah. Okay. From the 3 Lake Trio?
Yeah.
And they forged one with technology and one naturally.
Ooh, hate that.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about what that could be.
Yeah. So I mean, if I was gonna put Gen 6's like treatment of the legendaries closest anywhere else, I would probably put it in Gen 4. You can tell me what you think of that after you get through the plot. But yeah, I mean, they really don't like in Gen 1. Does anyone even say anything about legendaries the whole way through?
Nah.
I don't think so, right? Like,
I don't remember, really.
Like, I thought someone says, like, oh, there's this bird that hangs out around the power plant.
that could be. That could be.
I think that's it.
But it was just very basic of just like, I don't know what this bird is. It's just a bird.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
No one-
You get close with the Cinnabar Mansion, where you do have the diaries that point to the existence of Mew. And
Yes,
like, how they
okay.
Mew.
I stand a little corrected.
But it's like, okay, well, who is responsible for it? What happened to them? Clearly, this mansion is now, like, demolished. And what happened to Mew and Mewtwo? There's just nothing. Nobody on Cinnabar Island even says anything about it, either. It's just there. You know?
Meanwhile, in Gen 8, Peony's like, oh yeah, I think I saw one of the legendary birds over there.
Yeah, here's all my notes.
Here's all my notes.
Yeah!
They live in a big tree. It's over there.
Yeah. But, like, in Gen 2, they, like, did a much better job of it, because when you get to Ecruteak, the entire town knows the history of the Tin Tower. They know the entire history of the Burn Tower. They know everything about Luvia and Ho and the dogs. They're, like, you know, invested in it. Like, the gym leader's like, I'm gonna prove my worth to them. It's a whole thing.
But at that point, it is still, like... And I think they maintain some of this through the next 3 gens.
Mm-hmm.
It's still sort of like, oh, yeah, there's these, like, birds that visit the towers. Like, it's very much like, you know, if you see the legendary dogs show up, like, definitely don't try to, like, piss them off. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like Cyrus didn't have some grandmother telling him those fairy tales. He missed that memo. There is mention of Cyrus in the last gym town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, I remember this little kid.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah. It's like, well, trapped in the distortion world. Bye.
God. Ooh.
But it is kind of interesting to see the later gens struggle with how to balance that. Like, maintaining that air of mythos around the legendaries while also being like... Also, we built in a subplot where you go and you catch them all.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is particularly true in, like, Sword, where you you literally just go and catch them all like in the post game. But and I think like Gen 3 was sort of on the balance point where like they don't tell you that you can just go catch all the Pokemon, but they make it pretty damn obvious that you could do so if you wanted to with the first 3. There's a lot of hints about the Reggie's puzzle, but going through the game, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have figured out how to do this, like, just based off what the old man's told me throughout the game.
It's very just out there. Yeah. Game, you look like you're deep in thought.
It does.
Just thinking about all the legendaries.
There are a lot.
There are many.
Really, Gen 4 onwards, that's when they started to just like really explode with legendaries. Because Gen 3 is literally just like Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, the Latias and Latios, Deoxys and Jirachi, and like that's it.
The 3 Reggies.
10.
Yeah, that's it.
A lot. That's not so many.
10 is not a lot, but also like think about Gen 1 where there's what, 4? 5? 5.
5.
And
It's
even in
Gen
Gen 2 has also 5?
3 birds.
Oh, 3 birds.
Or 3 dogs.
3
2
dogs and 2 birds.
And a Celebi.
And a Celebi. Okay, so 6. Like, yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's very cool that in later generations they added a lot of new legendary Pokemon, because I actually, like, I super appreciate that. It does run the risk of making each legendary Pokemon less cool. I am glad that Gen 6 found, like, Gen 5 and 6 I thought did a good job of invigorating that formula a bit with the fact that, like, when a legendary Pokemon steps on the screen, you know it. Gen 4 too, because I appreciated the way they did that.
Yeah. The Spear Pillar stuff was bonkers.
Yeah.
The lights.
Yes.
The
lights in the sky. The fact that, and Gens 3 and 4 both working in like a really spritey space did, without a lot of like other animation stuff, did a nice job of differentiating the Pokemon sprites, because you had like giant Groudon and Palkia or whoever it was would be standing on the sky, like, not sky pillar. What is it?
Spear Pillar.
Spear Pillar. Okay. But I appreciated that they did that. Like, there would be an actual model for the Pokemon in the real world, in the overworld that you could see. Sort of like the 3 little chick icons in Gen 1.
Where you don't realize what they are until you click on it. You're just like,
No, because it
oh,
looks like
it's
a
a bird.
fucking, like, chicken.
yeah, it's the same as like a Pidgey sprite. And all the birds, they only had like 12 sprites they ran through.
Yeah.
What are you up to? Oh, it's a Machamp. It's like a Rhyhorn.
Right. They're all, aren't they all just the
Very
Rhydon
generic
figure or the
Rhydon
Rhyhorn
looking,
figure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Machoke, I think Machamp actually had like a individual.
A little dude. But
Yeah, I
then
think he
the
did.
Niddos definitely look exactly like the Rhyhorn in the menu.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, who am I throwing in? I don't know. I don't know what any of their moves are. I don't know what any of their moves do. Fuck it.
Fair. Yeah, I forgot. They don't tell you.
That's why I also did not like nickname anybody. I didn't do any of that because I was like, I get so confused. Can't do it.
Yeah.
I need to know their name so I know what I'm putting in.
Yeah.
Pikachu. I got that.
It's fun.
Well,
We should do a tier list for legendaries.
I would be so down to do that. That would be awesome.
For
We actually, you know, if anyone wants to put in the chat, like in the next minute, any tier list that they want us to do for next week, definitely do that. And or if you're in our Discord server, or know any of us personally, please tell us your ideas for tier lists because we would love to hear them. One that I suggested in chat was to tier all of our own starters, which I think we're going to do at some point. So each of us will go through only our own starters, not necessarily everyone's. Put them all on one big list, and then we can fight about it next week. I would be totally down to do a legendary tier list. I did make a tier. I made a funny tier list, but then I kind of realized it was maybe a little too mean. Where because I was on the tier list site and it was like, oh, you can do like any of the 8 generations. So I picked Gen 2 and I put every Pokemon in the F category except for Ampharos.
Oh my god! Look, give Typhlosion a chance.
I had to move some of them up, so I actually still have it. Maybe I'll bring that one so we can talk about it because I realized that there's just so many god awful Pokemon in that generation. Oh my god! It's not just Chikorita. I kept going through the list and I was like, I have to give this an F. I can't. There's nowhere else to put it. There's like 3 good Pokemon in that whole generation.
I'm trying to think what else is good.
Ampharos, Quagsire, and...
Quagsire. There are better water ground types out there.
Umbreon.
Yeah, Mudkip.
Yeah, Umbreon.
Umbreon, I think I put as an A with Espeon.
Nice.
Nice.
I think I put 3 of them in S tier. But I can't remember. I don't remember what the third one was.
What, Tyranitar or something?
Oh.
Should have been a good one.
Maybe, probably. Yeah.
No.
Anyways, you can find out next week when we go over our tier list. So, yeah, I was thinking I might, like, make a little slideshow and just throw a bunch of the pictures in there and we can just flip through those next week. I can, if we have update... an update sheet, I can just put that as the first one and we can check that out. But
there should be another S tier Pokemon and it's Miltank.
No. I think I gave Miltank a C because I was like, well, I hate it, but clearly it's good.
I would give it a B, honestly. It's really good, and I still am so upset when I run into Miltanks even now.
That moveset is insane.
Good.
Insane.
And the milk drink, it's unique. Like,
yes. Because that's its signature move, and yeah. Also,
Miltank.
So, I don't know if this is going way back to an idea that I talked about a couple weeks ago, but when I caught the Mareep, right? Because I was doing my thing where I went to the E4 with a Pokemon from each of the 6 generations, which I was really actually pleasantly surprised by how well that turned out, based on the Pokemon you could actually catch in Pokemon X. But you had to catch Mareep in a horde. That was its only encounter in Pokemon X was as a horde, which you can trigger if you use honey when you're standing in tall grass in the right place. But I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I had to go to the right place and pull out the honey, and then you have to kill 4 Mareeps to catch. Oh, and this is why I remember that. Tauros also can appear as hordes, and if they appear as a horde, there will be 4 Tauros and 1 Miltank.
On what?
Tank.
1 Miltank. Because it's a horde of cows.
Yep.
There are several. There are several
much.
Pokemon hordes that appear with 4 of one and 1 of another, and that's one of them, where it appears with the 1 Miltank.
Fuck Miltank.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I thought that Miltank was fine.
Yeah. I was really happy with my Gens 1 through 6 idea. The only one I wasn't like super amped about at first was Gothitelle, and then I started using Gothitelle, and I was like, oh my god.
Gothitelle was my 7th.
What was your what?
Gothitelle was my 7th for Black or Black 2.
Oh, yeah.
Failing getting something else, it would have been gone.
Yeah. She was awesome. Future Sight. She's the only Pokemon I think I've ever let get away with a single type moveset. Because every move she had was Psychic, but they all did something different.
Yeah, Psychic types tend to be pretty variable with like what ends up being a Psychic type move.
She has a move that like lowers evasion on Pokemon, and one that like I think maybe has an effect, and then Psychic, and then Future Sight. And Future Sight's crazy damage. You have to be able to survive, but
oh no, it'll still hit even if you fail.
Someone has to be able to survive 2 turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Still thinking about the Gen 2 Pokemon you probably put in S tier. What about Heracross?
Heracross was near the top. It was I either put it in A or S because I remember that one being absolutely
Heracross is one of the few Pokemon that's made an appearance in multiple generations for us on different teams.
I love Heracross.
Because that was on... Shoot, where else? That was in your Gen...
I used Heracross in flat, and then Sirmina somehow, on like the first try...
Yeah.
Pretty much, got it in Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to check this tree. Oh, it's Heracross.
Yeah, that was wild. I remember that stream. You're just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great morning, I guess.
And that Heracross is bug fighting, right?
Yep.
Bug fighting.
Yeah.
Very useful. Wow.
But yeah,
Attack.
Stupid honey. Slather the trees in honey.
See, it's really the amazingness of Talonflame that got me through Pokemon X. Until you run into a fucking Miltank that knows rollout. What?
Your Talonflame was level 72.
Yeah, with no grinding though.
Experience share, baby.
Gen 6 is absurd. Yeah, also, I have a thing about the X share real quick. I did some clocking. You don't lose experience on the lead Pokemon when you have the X share on.
What do you mean?
I mean that if you have the X share on, Talonflame will get 72 XP, and everybody else on your team will get whatever amount. If you have it off, Talonflame gets 72 XP.
Oh, yeah, you don't lose, yeah. That's what you mean, yes.
You literally just level everyone up. Like, it's...
Everybody that participates gets the full, and everyone who doesn't participate gets the half.
Yeah, but it's absurd.
True from here on out? Or did they change that? Because I feel like that works differently in Sword and Shield.
I don't know how it works in Sword. Sword has its own, like, weird way of doing things. Because, like, in Sword, everybody on your team will get a different number of points.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that when we get to Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and then
yes, we can check how the mechanics work.
Yeah. Can't wait till you guys get to Sun and Moon.
I'm there soon. Tomorrow's what, the 28th. Then Tuesday, Wednesday. I could start as early as Thursday.
Yes, you could.
Which I probably will. That's
great,
July, right? Thursday
is
the 1st?
July 1st.
July 1st.
Woohoo!
Oh.
Because I think I got 28 days on my big counter.
Almost halfway through the year.
Oh my god, it was literally just 42, and now it's 28.
Yeah, that's what happens when 2 weeks goes by.
Listen. Time. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 1 month.
I love it.
Less than.
I'm not going to share that with everybody that might be watching our stream, but I will tell you guys right after we get off.
Okay.
Speaking of which, anybody got closing comments that we didn't get to address yet?
I hate the unique evolutions that X and Y presents because I need a fucking dark type on my team for Pancham to Pangoro, and then I need Amara to evolve during the night.
Yep.
After level 39. Fuck that.
And
then I need a Tiny Stone and I need a Dusk Stone for Doublade and Florges. God, I just mixed it up. Fuck that. Okay.
Can you find those in caves and the like?
I got a Tiny Stone this week for Florges. Yeah. But of course, with like stone evolutions, it's like once a Pokemon evolves via stone, they can't really learn anything else level up.
Yep.
So I had to wait. I still have to wait and wait. So
it's okay. I had to wait till level 55 to evolve Talonflame.
Everyone's just taking forever to evolve because.
So
wait
I am
long time for evolving Lampin with the Dusk Stone.
Yes.
I am very slowly working on. I think Cam knows I was idly trying to catch some of the fill out my Pokedex in Pokemon Sword. Mm-hmm. And I have been writing down some of the methods that you need to take to evolve some of these bullshit fucking Pokemon that I'm missing. And oh my god, and really a lot of them are from Gen 6 that are now in Gen 8. And it's just the most absurd stuff that you have to do to get this stupid plant that I don't even want.
What's going on? What are some examples of these?
You have to have like high friendship at level 35 at night. Like, there was one that's like. Well, there's obviously the cicada one. Like you have to do a little bit of planning, but that's not that bad. But there's that Pancham Pangoro thing where you have to also have a dark type on your party, like when it's at a certain level to evolve, whatever, and just all these different stones, which fortunately in Gen 8 are like super easy to get because you can just go to the stone place. But yeah, I was like reading through some of this stuff. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Anything with friendship is automatically just like. And of course, there's Tyrogue evolving into the different Hitmons.
Oh, yeah.
Which is its own awful, stupid blend of annoyingness. Anyway.
I still feel very lucky about when Riolu evolved into Lucario the last minute.
Yeah.
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 It's really nice.
That was really clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want Sylveon in Pokemon Go, just get 70 friendship hearts with it while it's your buddy.
I refuse. I hate the evolutions in Pokemon
Or
Sword.
you can just name it a fairy name, like they do in the show. So.
Honestly, I think that's what I did just for the Pokedex for all the evolutions.
For Go, that's definitely what I did.
There is a level, like 42 or 43 challenge where you have to get all evolutions. Yeah.
Do you have to? Oh, you have to do that at that point. Ooh.
That's
that's so brutal.
Don't you need like grassy lures and?
Yeah.
You need a grassy lure. You need a glacial lure.
Yeah.
To get
Leafeon and Leafeon.
Yeah. I really like how they do it in the game as opposed to in Go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I need to find a leaf rock, like the Mossy Rock or the Icy Rock, or evolve Magneton into Magnezone by being in an area of high electrical charge.
Yeah.
Like Mount Coronet. That was really great. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Charge Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also
Same thing with Nose Pass in Mount Coronet. It's Probopass. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, folks, might take us down off live. But if you got the chance to join our stream tonight, thank you so much. Especially, I think Masaru's been asking us a ton of questions, and that's been really helpful to have to kind of drive our conversation here. Tune in next week, maybe the week after, for some tier lists. and we'll try to recap this kind of first half of the VPP for you. It's been a heck of a 6 months, and we're excited to share some more like summary stuff of kind of what this has been like. We're sure to have some streams for you this week. I'm on VPP vacation until Thursday, but then I'll be back with some Pokemon Ultra Sun. Sirmina is probably going to be streaming Pokemon Y.
Gotta finish, dude.
What's up?
I gotta finish.
You gotta finish.
I gotta finish.
And same with Cam over in Pokemon Black 2. So we'll have a nice mix of Gens 5, 6, and 7 for you this week before next Sunday update. And of course, please do join us next Sunday at 6:30ish, and we'll be talking about, well, you know, it's always a little different, but look out for that YouTube notification sometime between 6 and midnight next Sunday, and we'll be on to talk about some tier lists, how the new games are going, depending on who's gotten the chance to start, and definitely how the last games ended, including the E4 and Champ for Gen 6, which I think we can finally talk about next week.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and we'll talk about yours, Cam, too.
Yes.
We're going to talk about your champion.
Yes.
Oh, the champion. Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the E4.
We already know about this.
Yeah.
I don't think we even talked about the champ last time that I was, like, after I beat White 2, so...
You guys can catch up.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good.
So
and I'll rewatch some White 2 streams before then, so I know what the heck's going on. And I'll tune into some of the Black 2 streams. And the Wise.
So yeah, that's Peter, and that is... No, I'm
it's actually flipped on
versus YouTube. No,
You're still
this is going to be Cam.
I'm Peter. The other one is Cam.
Whoops, you guys. My bad.
Yes. So anyway.
Also, did our stream freeze?
Oh, you know what? Nope, it didn't, because I still have us up. But before it actually freezes, I'm going to take us down. So have a nice night, everybody, and we'll see you some more times this week.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great one. This has been our Sunday update.